Joan of Arc, born in 1412 in the small village of Domremy, is one of France's most iconic historical figures. Her parents, Jacques d'Arc and Isabelle Romy, were peasants, and Joan grew up in a humble household. From a young age, Joan was deeply religious, showing a strong devotion to the Catholic Church. This religious upbringing played a critical role in her later mission. During Joan's lifetime, France was embroiled in the Hundred Years' War, a prolonged conflict with England over control of the French throne. Much of northern France was occupied by the English, and the legitimate heir to the French crown, Charles VII, was struggling to maintain control. At the age of 13, Joan began receiving visions from Saint Michael, Saint Catherine, and Saint Margaret, instructing her to drive the English out of France and ensure that Charles VII was crowned king. Believing that God had chosen her for this mission, Joan left her village in 1429 at the age of 17 and traveled to meet Charles VII, who was then known as the Dauphin. Despite initial skepticism, she convinced him of her divine mission and was given troops to lead. Joan's first major military engagement was the Siege of Orleans in 1429. Arriving when the French were on the brink of defeat, her presence and leadership inspired the demoralized troops. Within days, the French achieved a stunning victory, lifting the siege and marking a turning point in the war. Joan then led a series of successful campaigns, paving the way for Charles VII to be crowned king at Reims Cathedral in July 1429. Her role in the coronation was pivotal, fulfilling her mission as foreseen in her visions. In May 1430, Joan was captured by Burgundian forces, allies of the English, during a military engagement at Compiègne. Handed over to the English, she was put on trial by a pro-English ecclesiastical court in Rouen, charged with heresy, witchcraft, and cross-dressing. Despite her eloquent defense, Joan was found guilty. On May 30th, 1431, Joan was burned at the stake in Rouen at 19 years old, her final words reportedly calling on Jesus. 25 years later, her conviction was overturned by a posthumous retrial ordered by Pope Calixtus III, declaring her innocent and a martyr. In 1920, Joan was canonized by the Catholic Church, becoming Saint Joan of Arc. Today, she is recognized as one of France's national heroines and a symbol of courage, faith, and resistance. Joan of Arc's life was brief but extraordinary, her unshakable faith and leadership helping to change the course of French history. She continues to be revered as a symbol of bravery and righteousness.